I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused on dangerous, they don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads whizzing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need the brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. What's a family? You do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem, man. Perfect, let them watch me. Elevating, got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the option. Woo! Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Woo!
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is best bet for UFC Vegas 62. We have Alexa Grasso going against Viviane Araujo. And as you guys might be able to tell, my voice is a little messed up, a little sick here. I just tested positive for COVID for the third time. Might set a record in terms of getting positive for COVID. But yeah, so not feeling great. Hopefully feel better very soon because we have a big card coming up next week with UFC 280. Have a lot of stuff to do. Going to start researching that tonight and then all day tomorrow. So I'm ready for stat diggers tomorrow night. But yeah, not feeling too well. So don't know how long I'm going to be on. But yeah, I wanted to come on here and give the best bet for each and every fight on the card. Before we get started, guys, and get into it, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It is always much, much appreciated. Do want to shout out the chat before we get started. We got Ryan in here. We got Midnight Rider. We got Ken in here as well. Get Darsh Choked. We got Justin. And we got Aiken. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to get right into it, starting with the first fight on the card. We have Mike Jackson going against Pete Rodriguez. And this is a fight where it's really hard to find a best bet, because really nothing's sticking out. I think violence stuck out initially, but you know, the under 1.5 has been just smashed. It opened up at minus 150, and even then wasn't too excited about it. And now it's sitting at minus 265. I guess the only thing I would do, and I'm not betting on this fight, I don't recommend betting on this fight. The only thing I would do would be to look at Pete Rodriguez in round one. But even that, it's not great. It's like minus 180 for Rodriguez round one. See what the knockout is. Might be a little bit better. Pete Rodriguez by first round knockout is like minus 150, minus 136 on Bet Rivers. I think that's where I would look. I think Rodriguez finishes this fight early. I think he can knock out Jackson on the feet, if not take him down and get him out of there with a TKO. But this fight is sketchy. Probably not going to be touching it. Well, I am not going to be touching it. But it should be interesting, I guess. It's going to be pretty hilarious. But yeah, I'm not betting on this fight. But give me Rodriguez to win in round one. Round one knockout. That's really the only way I would touch this. Fight doesn't go. I'd say it's parlayable, but it's like minus 850, minus 600. So yeah, pretty sketchy fight to start off the card. Moyes is saying bet the draw. The draw plus you got plus 8,000 there on Betway, plus 6,600. And yeah, you might as well. Like, it could happen, especially in a Mike Jackson fight. Anything can happen. The draw could potentially be on the table, and yeah, juicy odds there. Jackson money line and decision sprinkle. Yeah, I will not be doing that, but yeah, I wish you the best of luck. That would be a big hit because both those lines are juicy. Uncle Weezy promised me you're only flying first class from now on. Yeah, so I did actually fly down first class to Florida, but on the way back, I did sit towards the back of the plane. So yeah, I'm not sure how I got it, but yeah, just keep getting it, man. So hopefully this is the last of it, and perfect timing as well with a big card coming up next week. But hopefully this is the worst of it. And then Aiken saying round one, easy pick. That's kind of where I'm leaning as well, but man, the odds just aren't the great. Jackson split decision plus 4,500. Is that really it? Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's juicy, but I don't know. Man, I'm so sick. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. We have CJ Vergara going against Tatsuro Taira, and this is one where actually two things stick out. So I saw a line on DraftKings Sportsbook, and it's the decision only for CJ Vergara. I think is very interesting. I think Taira does finish this fight by submission. I think he does eventually get this fight down to the mat, but if Taira is not able to get the fight down to the mat, I think on the feet it's going to be very close. I think Vergara can have success with the volume. So the one thing with Vergara that I worry about is, if this fight does hit the mat, and if it does hit the mat, I think Taira gets the submission. So I think the two ways I would play this would be Taira to win by submission, which is sitting around plus 300 on FanDuel, plus 350 there on BetMGM, and then also the decision only for CJ Vergara is plus 250 on DraftKings. I think if this fight does go to decision, that probably means that Taira was not able to get this fight down to the mat. And if this fight does go to decision, I don't think Vergara looks minus 250 at all. But the pick for me is Taira by sub, and I think those are kind of the two ways I would play it. Even the Vergara money line was something I was considering because I do think it's pretty wide there. But give me Taira by submission, plus 300. It has been bet down a little bit. It was like plus 380, which is interesting because I think that's literally how he wins, getting the fight down to the mat and getting that sub. Vergara has been submitted before and submitted pretty easily as well. So give me Taira by submission. But if you like Vergara, I don't hate the money line shot, and I don't hate that decision only as well. Brady versus COVID. Yes, I think I will pull out the victory eventually. Sub is still good money. I think I think plus 300 is still pretty solid. I would still touch it there. But yeah, plus 380 was insane earlier in the week. We're all saying Tatsuro Tub. Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, we will keep moving on to the next fight. We have Pierre Rodriguez going against Sam Hughes. I kind of thought this money line would come down throughout the week a little bit, but it hasn't really been the case. It looks like money just recently came back in on Pierre Rodriguez. She was all the way up to around, was that plus one or minus 151, and then just recently got down to like minus 179. So I was probably going to bet her straight if the line kept coming down, but it didn't. But yeah, if I had to bet something in this fight, and I don't have a bet on this fight, it would be that Pierre Rodriguez money line. I think on the feet, she's the better striker. I don't like the striking defense of Sam Hughes, and I also think that Pierre Rodriguez can implement some takedowns here. We saw that Rodriguez has started to wrestle a lot more her last two fights. Sam Hughes, I don't think has the best takedown defense. I know Sam Hughes is a very popular dog, but that's why I thought the money line might come down throughout the week, but that's just not been the case. So, give me Rodriguez here. Looks like the best price, like minus 160 on BetMGM, minus 168 on FanDuel. That would be my best bet. But again, I do not have a bet on this fight. But yeah, I think Rodriguez gets this one done. Brady by UD. I like it. Minus 1,000. I like it. Brady over COVID will be Uncle Wee's ass shame of the week for UFC 280. Yes. Hey, I beat him. I beat him twice. Hopefully, I can do it 3 times in a row. Sean is on the Vergara side. Yeah, don't hate that call. Don't hate that, especially at those odds. COVID plus 760 is a good value. I hope not, man. I hope not. All right, let's keep moving on. We have Joe Anderson, Brito going against Lucas Alexander, and I'm going to go with the under 1.5, sitting around like the minus 130 range, minus 131. Also, don't mind the Brito inside the distance, which is sitting around like the minus 165 range. But yeah, I like that under there. I think, Brito goes in there, and I think he finishes Alexander in the very first round. And I think he has multiple paths to do it. I think he can either go out there and knock out Alexander. I don't like the striking defense of Alexander. I think Brito can get him out of there on the feet. And then also, I think he can submit Alexander, who has been submitted in both of his losses. So I like the under. I like Brito inside the distance. And I think Brito gets him out of there probably in round 1. Curious to see what Brito round 1 is, which is around like plus 130. I also don't hate that. I think he gets him out of there fairly early. But yeah, I like violence in this fight quite a bit. And I do think Brito gets him out of there in the very first round. Sam Hughes by split plus 900. Yeah, that's juicy. I wonder what Pierre by split is as well. I think the split could be live on either side there. Let us move on to the next fight here. We have Jacob Malkoon going against Nick Maximov, and I like the overs. I like the fight goes to decision. And actually, money's been coming in on these unders, and these fight doesn't go to decision, which is interesting. I don't know. I don't really see a finish in this fight personally, but the fight goes to decision is only minus 200 now. I think that's great. A great look. If there's a finish in this fight, Probably be a sub. And I really don't see it. I'm not sure why money's coming in on this fight doesn't go. But yeah, my best bet is the fight goes to decision. Minus 200. I don't think it's a crazy price. And that is something that I have a bet on the split decision in this fight, which is around plus 400. But yeah, that's tempting as well, just to add on there, that minus 200. I really don't see a finish in this fight. I think it's going to play out on the mat. Lots of takedowns, lots of control, lots of reversals. Don't see it playing out on the feet much. So I guess if it did finish, it'd be a sub, but I just don't see it. So yeah, fight goes to decision minus 200 would be kind of where I'd look there, and I don't hate that price tag whatsoever. Also, don't mind the split decision. I think it goes to decision. I think it's close. I think it's a close fight. Can go either way. So give me the fight goes and the split there. Brady getting sick on vacation minus 300. Yeah, 2 times in a row. 2 times in a row. So I'm about done going on vacation. About done with it, man. Kind of have to play Brito at 9,400 on DK. Yeah, I have a decent amount of Brito for sure. And I also have a decent amount of Pete Rodriguez. Sean is leaning on the Malkoon side. Yeah, it's a close fight. I mean, it can go either way. I have both sides on DraftKings there. All right, we'll keep moving on. We have Mana Martinez going against Brandon Davis. And my best bet for this fight is going to be Mana Martinez to win inside the distance, which is sitting at best price there, plus 180. And I think he gets the finish here. I think he gets the finish against Brandon Davis. Just did not like what I saw from Brandon Davis his last time out. He looked just horrible. He looked awful. I think the weight cut is taking a lot out of him. He was getting hurt with everything that Dana Bakary was landing, and Dana hits very hard. Don't get me wrong, but Mana Martinez hits very hard as well. I also don't mind like the fight doesn't go, but it's getting hit a little bit, like minus 130, minus 120. But yeah, my best bet for this one is the Mana Martinez inside the distance. Mana Martinez by KO plus 240, even I think is solid. I did go with the inside the distance personally, just in case. Davis has been submitted twice, but I think the knockout is most likely. So give me Mana Martinez to knock out Brandon Davis, and probably do it in the very first round. Malkoon's cardio is just absurd, yet both guys' cardio is phenomenal. How does he keep that wrestling and takedown pace for so long? Yeah, it's incredible. Both guys, Maximov and Malkoon, they can wrestle for forever. All right, we'll keep moving it along. Sorry if I'm speeding through this, guys. Not feeling too well. We have Rafael Santos going against Victor Henry. In terms of a best bet, shout out to Uncle Weezy. I was watching his Greasy Four-Leg stream, and somebody brought up the Victor Henry round 3 or decision, which is like minus 310, which is kind of ridiculous because Victor Henry, not really known as a finisher. I know a Sunsao got finished by Ricky Simone and Cody Garbrandt, but that's like a big step up from like a Victor Henry. Victor Henry, more of a decision guy, and I guess Henry could maybe potentially get him out of there with volume, and that's kind of why I like the round 3 aspect of things, round 3 or decision aspect of things. Henry by decision is plus 140, plus 130. Like even that, I don't mind, but that round 3 decision, especially because maybe Henry does like overwhelm him with some volume. So yeah, give me that Henry round 3 or decision, minus 110. I think that is a very good look, or at least a much better look than laying like minus like 425, minus 410 on him. So yeah, I think that's a great look. I really don't see Victor Henry finishing a Sunsao early on. I think it's going to have to be like a accumulation of damage type thing if he does finish it at all. But I'm kind of leaning more so towards the decision route. Brady, end the stream, get better. I will be ending it in about 5 to 10 minutes. What is up, Keith? How are you doing? We're going to talk about the Wright Dusko fight pretty soon. All right, let us keep moving on to the next fight. We have Alonzo Menifield, Misha Cirkunov. Give me the under. Give me violence. We have the under 1.5 rounds around minus 135, minus 120, minus 122 there. I think this fight is a very good under spot. We have a striker versus grappler, and I see this fight playing out one of two ways. Either Menifield knocks out the very, very chinny Misha Cirkunov, has been knocked out a ton and been knocked out in the first round a ton. I think Menifield absolutely has the power to do that. Or I see Cirkunov getting the fight down to the mat and submitting Alonzo Menifield. I think Cirkunov's going to have a massive advantage on the mat if he was to get it there. But either way, I see a knockout by Menifield or a submission by Cirkunov, and I think either happen fairly early on here. So yeah, I like the under 1.5 rounds. Minus 135, minus 120 around there. I think it's still very much playable at that price. But yeah, should be a very, very good fight. Yeah, what is like Menifield by KO, Cirkunov by sub, like plus 340, plus 360. I think those are interesting. Take a look at the round one props. Menifield round one plus 165, plus 175. Cirkunov round one plus 500. Interesting. But yeah, I think the under is probably the best way to go. Kind of covers both sides there. Menifield has questionable fight IQ. That William Knight loss was a really bad look. Yeah, that's a very, very bad look. But Cirkunov has a very bad chin, so it's an interesting fight. All right, we will move on. Ace of Spades saying, "I appreciate all you do, Brady, even as a man being sick." Wow. Yep. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but you got to get through it, and it's gonna be tough, man. I have a lot of work to do for UFC 280, but got to push through it. All right, we got Dusko. This is funny on best fight odds. This gets me every time. Durko Todorover. Durko Todorover on best fight odds. Best fight odds. What are you doing? I mean, why can't you? Why haven't they fixed this? But yeah, Durko Todorover going against Jordan Wright. So since his name is Durko Todorover on best fight odds, these odds for Todorovic and like the unders, they're not going to show up. So I'm not sure what the odds are for any of these Dusko props, but I think the under's good. I think the under 1.5 is even parlayable, which is crazy to say because I would never typically parlay it under 1.5. But it's a Jordan Wright fight, and Jordan Wright has never seen that over 1.5 in like 15, 16 fights. But yeah, the under 1.5 has got smashed all week and a half, and rightfully so. At this point, my best bet would be like Todorovic to win in round one, which is, I think it's, I can find it. So Todorovic to win in round one is plus 155 on Bet Online, plus 200. Oh, wait. I think it's plus 200 on Bet Online for Todorovic to win in round one. Yeah, I think this fight does end in round one. I think it's Todorovic that does get it done. If you're on Jordan Wright, I mean, there's really one way to play it. And this was a prop that I was going to be looking at if they priced it. Because sometimes they always price this Wright knockout one prop at like plus 1,500 for some reason. They didn't this time, but still, like, this is how Wright wins. It's by round knockout at plus 500. There's really no other way he wins the fight outside of this round one. So if you do like the right side, plus 5 is the way to go. But I'm personally on the Todorovic side, so I took the Todorovic round one, like plus 200 for my best bet there. But I really like the under. I really like the fight doesn't go. And I think on FanDuel Sportsbook, I saw the fight doesn't go at like 14.75. It just goes to show that I'd be shocked if this fight went the distance, and a lot of people would lose a lot of money because it's a very popular play this week, and rightfully so. Yep, Durko. Durko Todorover. Love it. Yeah, like minus 230, minus 280 for the under one. It's been smashed. It's a very popular play, and rightfully so. Because it's a Jordan Wright fight. So it looks like people are finally starting to catch on. Jordan Wright fights finish, and Jordan Wright fights finish in the very first round more often than not. All right, guys, we'll keep moving on to the co-main event. Cub Swanson going against Jonathan Martinez. The best bet for me here is going to be the fight doesn't go. It's still plus money, plus 100. I got it at plus 110 there. I think it's a good violent spot. I think if Cub Swanson wins this fight, it's by knockout. Jonathan Martinez has been knocked out before. He's been hurt a ton. And if Cub Swanson's able to come down to this weight class and that power is able to translate, I think it'd absolutely knock out Jonathan Martinez. On the flip side, if that weight cut did take a toll on Cub Swanson at this point of his career, he's almost 39 years old, cutting that weight. Maybe he looks bad at this weight class. We'll have to see soon. And he fights with his hands super low. So I think the flying knee for Jonathan Martinez is going to be super live here. So yeah, I think both guys are live for a finish. I think Cub Swanson coming down a weight class helps that violence bet out even more. And it's still plus money. So I like the fight doesn't go at plus 100. Some other spots I was looking at was that Swanson KO, I think, is pretty juicy, plus 500 on FanDuel Sportsbook. I think if Cub Swanson wins, it will be potentially by knockout.
And that was probably about it. But yeah, especially that fight doesn't go. I think it kind of covers both sides there. I think both guys are live for a finish in this one. All right, and then the main event, Alexa Grasso going against Viviane Araujo. I do not have a bet on this fight. I think the best bet, honestly, is a live betting look at this fight. Wait after the first round, after the second round, potentially to live bet Alexa Grasso, if anything. Because I mean, I can almost guarantee you'll get a much better price tag after the first round than like minus 230, minus 215. I can almost guarantee that after that first round, it'll be a lot closer than that. Because I think Viviane fresh, she's going to have success. I think she can mix in takedowns, push Grasso against the cage, even have success in the striking. I think Viviane hits much harder than Grasso as well. But, as the fight goes on, I think Viviane slows down like she always does. And in a 5-round fight, not having the best gas tank's not a great look. So I like Grasso here ever so slightly, but, I can't lay this price tag. So the best bet for me is going to be that live bet on Grasso or the Grasso 4-5 decision on FanDuel. Last time I saw it, it was like minus 115, something like that. I don't think Grasso finishes Viviane, but if she does, I think it's late in that 4th or 5th round. But yeah, not a main event I'm totally looking forward to in terms of like a betting perspective. How did Cub look on the scale? Well, he's wearing sunglasses, but outside of that, he looked like super sucked out, but didn't look awful. But it's still something to mention. This is the only fight on the card I'm staying away from, but my prediction would have to be Grasso by sub. That would be a huge feather in her cap, submitting the black belt in Viviane Araujo. Grasso by sub, it's like plus 900. I would need a little bit better of a price on that. And that's pretty funny. Araujo by subs plus 1,600, and she's the black belt. But yeah, I will not be betting on this main event. You think Cub money line is wise? I was looking at Cub money line until the whole interview media day thing happened where he wasn't talking, and then the whole sunglasses at the weigh-ins. Did not completely love how he looked, so I'm staying away from the Cub money line. But initially, I was kind of leading that way, but kind of got sketched out over the week. Aiken saying, thank you, Brady Resta, my friend. Thank you, Aiken. Yeah, I can't wait to watch some fights here in about 37 minutes. Should be a fun card. We have this card, and then next week we have UFC 280, which is just completely stacked. Of course, we got Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev, Petr Yan, Sean O'Malley, Kyle Bahayo, Mohamed Muradov, Dariush Gamrot. Like, this card's insane. Chukagan Fioro, Muhammad Brady. Looking forward to Muhammad Mukai, Malcolm Gordon. It's going to be a good card. We did lose the Almeida Shamil fight. But yeah, it's going to be a really good card. Looking forward to it. I was thinking about maybe doing, breaking down one of these fights on Sunday. I was thinking maybe breaking down like the Bilal Muhammad Sean Brady fight on Sunday, or I don't know. There's a ton of different options. Like even like the O'Malley Yan fight, breaking one of those down on Sunday if I'm feeling up for it. But yeah, should be a phenomenal card. I already have a bet on next week's card. A couple of spots already sticking out. So yeah, it should be a fun time. All right. Davis, a good dog to take a shot on? I think so. I mean, I'm just a little sketched out about the whole weight cut thing. If you can conjure up any parlay, what would it be? So I was potentially going to do a parlay this week, but ended up passing earlier in the week, and now these lines have been smashed. But I really like the right fight doesn't go as a parlay piece, or like the under 2.5, and I really liked Victor Henry earlier in the week as a parlay piece. But like I said, both those lines just got completely smashed to where it's at the point where probably not even parlayable. But I do like those spots quite a bit. Yeah, I don't know why it says 281. It's 280. It's classic best fight odds. Classic best fight odds. Would love breakdowns on the fights next week. Appreciate your work, bro. You get healthy again. Yeah, I'll try. No more trips for me. I'm sick of getting sick. What is your best bet on the card? Don't really have a best bet. Like, this is a very, very light card for me. I have a total of 4.5 units. Actually, I have more action next week already than I have on this card. My biggest bet is literally 1 unit. I have 1 unit on the unders, under 1.5s on the Dusko fight, the Menifield fight, and the Brito fight. So I guess those are my best bets, my biggest bets of the night, which is, like I said, only 1 unit. So nothing too passionate this week. Sketchy card this week. I'll say Rodriguez just because of the first round upside, but Brito has first round upside as well. I have more Rodriguez, but I really like Rodriguez and Brito. I have them both in cash. Yes, Maximov was a little bit bigger than Malkoon there. What's up, Propaholic? How are you doing? UFC 280. Yeah, I'm about to get into the UFC 280 film as well. I might be doing some film during the fights to kind of get ahead a little bit, and then all day tomorrow, get the film done and get ready for Stat Diggers. But yeah, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Best of luck for UFC 282. If you have any questions, you can be up on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. Should be a great card today. And then also have UFC 280 next week. So look forward to content coming out very soon. Best of luck and see you guys later.